Welcome to the morning macro report with the blockchain basement. My name is Drew. I will be your host today on this fine Friday morning. The markets are buzzing. I have an absolute stack of news to get into. But first, before we slam through this immense amount of information to grow our brains just that much bigger before we head into the weekend, I want to remind everyone that this show is powered by Arculus, the world's leading crypto cold storage. Easily secure, store, buy, swap, send, and receive crypto with a simple tap. Three-factor authentication for all your assets to remain safer than ever. This company actually backed by CompoSecure, one of the old school developers of the little tiny chip device that we have inside of our cards that we know so well and love so well. So go ahead to support the channel, support me in my continuing grind to keep us moving to the top of this mountain. Support the channel. Go to getarculus.com and use code BASE10 for 10% off today. And without further ado, let's get into the markets. Absolute chaos breaking out here. This is my account, actually. I'm going to restart this thing. Let's bring this bad boy up. That's me. Follow me at Druth Crypto. You can always find me bringing the sauce there. But we have Bitcoin already trying to jackknife back up to $62,000. This is pretty lovely to see. A nice little wake-up call for the bears calling for lower lows. I'm sorry. I think that this is actually going to be holding pretty damn well. So, and shout out to everyone joining me here in the morning. We got R.A. Daniel, Benny Blue Eyes, Nicole Ministator, Mass Adoption, Bob from Accounting, waking up early, getting them early bacon waking. Steven, and just all the OGs down there. R.A. Daniel. Yes, R.A. Daniel. Good to see Bitcoin crossing 61K. We also have the general markets moving pretty nice. Dow is looking like it's up 1.17% this morning. S&P up about 1.1% and 1.85% on the NASDAQ. But the chaos in the insanity of what's going on with why the markets are presumably pumping right now is really part of the talking points for today. And yes, Crypto Carnivore, you are rich again. Rich again. Kobayashi talking about the Dow future soaring over 500 points after the April jobs data report comes in significantly below expectations. So we're going to go to the moon. We're going to pump it, because the economy is actually doing worse than we previously thought. You cannot make this stuff up. Absolutely insane. Not only did the economy add only 175,000 jobs, but the unemployment rate rose to 3.9%. On Wednesday, Fed Chair Powell said substantially weakening of the labor markets could promote rate cuts, actually. So now we have a weakening labor market, lower GDP growth, and rising inflation. How is this a soft landing? I am still waiting for the answer from wonderful Uncle Joe in the top of his District 1 perch that he sits there and babbles from and talks about, just some of the most insane things. The rubbing of the hairs on your legs. One of the creepiest presidents we've ever had in our lifetime. But not only creepy, but seemingly involved with a controlled demolition of this country, all in the meanwhile. Now, Apple doing some weird stuff here. Apple announced a $110 billion share buyback. This is the biggest in history. Absolutely massive move to make from Apple. Now, let's see if we can check out just on Market Watch what Apple is looking like. I know that they had a lot of hopes and dreams of rolling out some new products, some hard goods, even trying to look at an Apple car in recent reports, but they're trying to climb out of their trench as well. I mean, moving kind of similarly on it. This is the 6 month. If you condense that to Bitcoin's 1 month, kind of looks pretty similar there. Interesting note, but yes, they will be doing a large buyback of their stocks. Interesting to see where this goes. I don't know exactly how well the Apple company is doing with those gigantic glasses, those VR things that they're going to plug everyone into the future on. Doesn't seem like many people are interested / can even afford a $3,500 pair of glasses with visuals inside of it. So remember to have a drink for Uncle Bozy, who was a great athlete and tragically eaten by a well-known cannibal out of New Guinea. Wow. Thank you for that reminder, Break Nation. And what a way to wake up. My God. Well, that's a rough way to go. And it looks like Apple stopped work on the car, probably for their best interest. Probably for their best interest to stop that. And now with all of this chaos, this terrible jobs data, and people seemingly starting to accept what I said was going to happen, is that they're going to have to acknowledge that their scam data on the jobs market isn't going to hold up for more than a few months. They're going to have to stare the reality in the face that people are not employed. They're losing their jobs. They're working 2 to 3 jobs to stay afloat, and they cannot afford to buy the overpriced bullshit that we were used to purchasing previously in the last 10 to 20 years in the United States. Banter Bubbles effed me yesterday with their offline maintenance, down to 6 million tokens. Mine too, Nicole Minnis. I have Banter Bubbles going right now. I was up to like 10, maybe 15 mil on the points there, and it cut me down. Now I'm down to 3 mil once again. Let's see here. Talon works for Apple. Super happy that they stopped. We are not a car company. Exactly. And you know, when you're trying to compete against a car company, it gets really, really difficult real quick. You know, you see car companies operate at a loss at a large point to actually get off the ground. And now we are running into the situation where the powers that be are selling this lie of automation and this lie of this green new hope, you know, this way that they're going to just move everything to electric vehicles and wind power, and they're going to take over the world. Well, it's a long road to the top, my friends, and I don't think that they're quite prepared for what they're biting off there. Now, on Bitcoin's price action regarding all of this jobs data and the market seeming to wake back up, this is from Satoshi Flipper, bringing up his channel once again on the 4-hour. Love this guy's TA. Absolutely spot on. Look at the price action. Bitcoin bulls are back in the fight, back with the channel, and a nice deviation formed. Let's go, bolas. You know what to do. Now, when I'm looking at this, if I back up, this is the monthly on Bitcoin. And yeah, I mean, this looks scary from the large point. This level right here, I was like, all right, just prepare for a at least a tap to 55. We'd be getting lucky if we only had dropped to that. I think we dropped to like 56, 50. Yeah, it was in the 56s, 56.9 right there. So we dropped to 56.9, and you know, if we can hold our line anywhere up in this relative shelf area, I'm feeling bullish on it. Now, a lot of the channels that are being drawn are going from there to there and seeing this deviation from the bottom side. And really, when I saw that gigantic wick yesterday, it feels just time and time again to me, as I've watched the markets for years, that the markets at large will shake off the barnacles on the side of the ship of leverage traders and you know, people involved in longs and shorts seemingly both get wrecked at the front end of a massive move incoming for the markets. Oftentimes that's what I've seen. It kind of felt like that's what I was seeing yesterday with that violent price action, because boy howdy did that thing start moving. Good to see. Definitely some signs of life in the Bitcoin and crypto markets. And at 2 p.m. today, we're going to have Nick going absolutely ham-boney on all his different projects he's looking at, and a couple that I'm feeling pretty good about. Solana and Solana meme coins are feeling damn good right now. But on back to the economy here, Biden's chief economic leader literally has no idea how bonds work. This is actually kind of scary. I did not think they were this dumb. Better believe it. This is absolutely priceless. Let's have a listen. I'm interested to see what this guy says about the bonds market. This is quite a large subject matter. So
the U.S. government can't go bankrupt because we can print our own money.
It obviously begs the question, why exactly are we borrowing in a currency that we print ourselves? I'm waiting for someone to stand up and say, why do we borrow our own currency in the first place?
like you said, they print the dollar. So why does the government even borrow?
Well, again, some of this stuff gets, some of the language that some of the language and concepts are just confusing. I mean, the government definitely prints money, and it definitely lends that money, which is why the government definitely prints money, and then it lends that money by selling bonds. Is that what they do?
My God. My God. You just can't make this stuff up. He's supposed to be in charge of the economy and, the relations with bonds and quantitative easing, treasury repos. He could have gone on a list of things that I would hope he would be intelligent about. But instead, we get this perplexed look and a bunch of bumbling, it is a disgrace, Talon. This is an absolute disgrace that this country is being led by people like this. A hillbilly like myself should not be able to out-talk you on the relations of bonds and world trade. For God's sakes, man. This is just very bearish signals indeed. Now, with all of this economic data, the U.S. rate futures are now pricing in 2 cuts of 25 base points in 2024 versus 1 cut that they had brought it down to before the jobs data. Now, this is just shows you remind yourself of all of the macroeconomic people that decided to just flow along with the rest of the sheep on, we're going to get no cuts now. They're going to remain hawkish. He said so, right? It is aggravating to me to see people change their position and not really have a strong bellwether. They just go with the flow of the herd. And myself, not so much. Still sticking to they are going to cut this year. Still looking for June for that tap out point. A lot of people think that there's no tap out coming anytime soon. I tend to disagree. And the reason for that is not to save you and me here on this show or here in the middle class or even upper class people. It's to save the banks. And really, they're only saving a few select banks. There's going to be a large contingent of banks that will be sacrificed for this process. And I still am of the opinion that we're probably going to be looking at June for some major weaknesses to start showing in this. It's just the way I see it. You know what I mean? The banks are too far under on their FHLB ratings, and we've started to see the beginning of the banking contagion pick back up over the last 2 weeks. Very, very interesting. Yeah, it was very terrible watching that guy. I know. And thank you, Rusty. What an awesome crew. You guys are amazing. Blockchain backer thinking that raising rates is the Fed loading their ammo for a crisis. It won't drop rates until something breaks, and the Fed will have to unload its ammo. It's already breaking on the underside. They're already having to backstop it. They're already having to do repos. There's a lot. Basically, they spread out their quantitative easing mechanisms into 4 different camps to keep it confusing enough. So if someone's concentrated on one of them, they're going to be missing the other 3 that are happening in the background, because in the background, this is happening. M2 money supply turns positive. And now we're looking at an influx in the money supply for the first time since late 2022. This is definitely interesting to see. And now just look at the history. My God, look at that jackknife. Someone sneezed in China and accidentally turned the money printer on and forgot to turn it off. It looks like here. This thing absolutely ran up. This is the M2 money supply. And we all know what that created. It's just absolutely insane. And now we see the conversation going around about about cows catching bird flu, and we have to quarantine your meat and all these different things. They're priming you. They're dropping the little hints that, guess what? We're going to try it again on you. Now, people that were very left leaning or that did trust the government at a point in the past, I feel like at large no longer are in that situation. They're not going to fall for this psyop. Maybe that's just the hopeless romantic in me begging and praying that people have woken up to the scam and they won't fall for it again, but they are going to try it again. So it's up to us to share the message to make sure that our fellow members of our communities don't fall for that psyop like we did see them fall for it in 2020. And with that, with another side of this psyop, and speaking of banks being over-leveraged and heavily overexposed and riding on the knife's edge themselves, JP Morgan Chase, Bank of America, and Citigroup, Citibank have a combined $7.4 trillion in hidden off-balance sheets. This is the current report. Now, this is just a throwback as well to the sickness that played into 2008. Wall Street mega banks had trillions of dollars in off-balance sheets in a replay of accounting hubris that led to the 2008 Wall Street collapse. Pam Martins and Russ Martins put this together May 2 of 2024 when the Financial Crisis Inquiry Commission released their final forensic report on the cause for the 2008 financial collapse in Wall Street, the worst collapse since the Great Depression move. It pointed to hidden leverage in off-balance sheet entities at megabanks on Wall Street as a key driver of the crisis. It wrote from 2000 to 2007, banks and thrifts generally had $16 to $22 in assets for each dollar in capital cash on hand, for leverage ratios between 16 to 1 and 22 to 1. And for some banks, they leverage remained roughly constant, but JP Morgan was between 20 to 1 and 22 to 1. Wells Fargo ranging 16 to 17, and other banks up their leverage, like the Bank of America, moving from 18 to 27 to 1 ratio in 2007. What could go wrong, folks? What could go wrong? It's insane to not see the lessons from history translate over into Wall Street. This is either they're stupid or they're evil. I don't think that people with economic degrees or with extremely strong economic backgrounds that are working actively on Wall Street are stupid. So I have to choose the other side of the option. I'm sorry, it's just, call a spade a spade. Now, here's an interesting concept. Now, I've been talking about, and this is for years, I've been talking for about 3 or 4 years on the concept that should AI continue its implementation, its expansion into the world as we know it, the automation of everything that we do, the way that we purchase things, the way that our information flows, and what do you see? It's happening. Now, let's say you're an AI robot. Try to imagine yourself accepting a fiat dollar backed by nothing, or are you, the AI system, a data set, more interested in proof of work from computational mathematical power proven on a decentralized worldwide system? That is a pretty simple thing to think about, and really you can boil it down to AI is not going to be interested in dollars. If it becomes singular consciousness, comes into it, which I do think we're not too far away from, if we haven't already hit it with Sam Altman. I mean, think back to Sam Altman. They kicked him off the board, and then a week or two later, bring him back on the board. The people that kicked him out had to step down. And I talked about this 6 months before that time frame occurred. It is highly potential that Sam Altman has achieved that singularity level. They realized it, and they had to bring him back in to control it because they had no idea what the hell they were doing, because the cat's out of the bag. Now, if you're an AI system, you're not going to be interested in fiat cash. You're going to be interested in proof of work systems, and probably we'll see proof of staking mechanisms or different types of systems like that that have built out, like Ethereum, as useful as well. It has its own use case, and oh God, people are talking about XRP going to the moon still. Okay, we're talking about reality here. AI is not going to be interested in fiat. It's going to be mostly interested in Bitcoin. And now we had one of the PayPal Mafia come out and confirm this. My thoughts, once again, validated because I am a damn gigached. Former PayPal president David Marcus says Bitcoin is going to be the native currency of AI. And you pair this with BlackRock CEO Larry Fink talking about substituting humans for machines is going to be far easier in countries that have declining populations. Now, let's think critically here for a minute, folks. Is the population in decline in America? Is a large contingent of America falling victim to chronic disease and disability, thus taking them out of the workforce or production sector? Is BlackRock gathering up all of the Bitcoin right before the world wakes up to the potential of this currency for themselves? And is BlackRock going to be behind the strings pulling all of the mechanisms that roll out this AI into the world? This is insane. To see this combination, Larry Fink and all of the geniuses and the macroeconomic scientists, I would call them, that work for BlackRock, they likely see the same thing that I do. That the fiat dollar that is going to zero is not going to be accepted by the AI systems that they roll out to automate systems by. So, hey, what's up? We got, unmute your mic. Unmute, what is this one? Number 2. Unmute number 2. Yeah, the red guy. What's up, Kelly? I got Kelly Kellum coming in here.
What's up, man? We're going studio to studio. I
dude.
just sent a bunch of the labbies here.
Hey, man, I appreciate you, man. They're all coming in here now. Kelly, I'm talking about something kind of interesting. Okay, so we have basically, first of all, back up to this. We have PayPal's president talking about AI is going to prefer Bitcoin as its native currency, right? And now we combine that conversation with Larry Fink talking about substituting humans for machines. Going to be real easy in countries with declining populations, aka the United States. And I always have thought that, Bitcoin was going to be the only way I'd be able to pay the Terminator off to get off my lawn in 2030, 2035 timeframe. Maybe that's being hyperbolic on the time frame, but now I'm thinking, there's some thought that comes to my mind last night as I'm thinking through this and going over it, is that potentially BlackRock is gathering all this Bitcoin to have something to pay its AI systems off with 10, 20 years from now. Chaotic idea, I know, but it's a potential. What are your thoughts on this? Are they interested in just the monetary up into the right action only of Bitcoin, or are they seeing that larger picture and potentially getting ready for it?
You talking about BlackRock themselves or AI?
BlackRock themselves.
I think that they see the downward trajectory of fiat systems, not just the US dollar.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that regardless, how about this? This is the most bullish statement we can ever make about Bitcoin. Regardless of the decline of the dollar, when you look at the composition of Bitcoin as a protocol and the beauty of the distributed ledger that everybody sees, and it's audited every 10 minutes and it's equally visible and transparent, there literally has never been a better asset. So regardless of the fall of other currencies, Bitcoin stands on its own feet. Mm-hmm. Now, the fact that other currencies are failing as well, or on the trajectory to fail, that only makes the Bitcoin protocol even better. Yeah. In addition to that, I don't know if you saw it. You may want to share it or not, because it's like 2 minutes. But the most ridiculous statement I've ever heard in the history of our government, I saw this morning. I shared it on my page. It is the chief.
Oh God, yeah, I showed that. I showed that.
It's just like, I don't. It's confusing. Motherfucker, you are the advisor to the president on the economy. That's why. So, I mean, even if you don't like Bitcoin, don't you want something that's audited every 10 minutes that everybody can see and is transparent? I think that's why AI is interested in it also. It's on the digital space, but I don't know.
Dude, I think BlackRock's buying up their cash cow to pay off their AI overlords 10 years from now, 20 years from now. And I also am of the opinion that singularity's been achieved. We don't want to admit it yet by Sam Altman. I think that Sam Altman was brought back because he achieved it. He didn't tell the board. They got pissed. They kicked him out, realized they didn't know how the hell to handle it, and they had to bring him back and get downgraded to go to other sections. So that's my chaotic theory. Maybe. I can't roll the tape again. All right, Daniel, it's too painful, too damn painful. But here's some good news in the economy. Boeing has chosen their employee of the year. This is huge. Shout out to you.
Assassin?
Yeah, it's the assassin. Yeah. So, employee of the year, he deserves it, man. He's really out there putting the work in. Now, we got this, the climate scam, April 24 was 1.3 degrees cooler than April of 1981 in the United States.
So on this point, I saw a couple images like 2 weeks ago that actually blew my mind. And I'm not going to debate whether or not global warming, this or that, but what I can debate, and everybody should pay attention to, regardless of what side of this you're on, is there's images and it shows the date and time of specific weather reporters showing basically the weather right?
Mhm.
And it has actually has the degree temperature on the different regions now, and then also 5 years ago and also 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And the weather is actually cooler now, which that's not the point here, but the coloring on the map shows very red, like so
Yeah.
there's a psychological thing. It's like, oh man, yeah, it's worse than it's been. And then you see the temperatures, you're like, it's colder now than it was 5 and 10 years ago. But now they're showing it red to drive that narrative.
Absolutely. And, why would Obama be buying beachfront houses if he believed what he said and the ocean was going to rise and
dad
take it
says
away?
that.
Like, what kind of idiocy is that? So, and also they put the measurement systems on the actual ground instead of 6 feet above the ground. I think it's like 2 or 3 meters above the ground is where it's actually supposed to take the temperature on. Really, look at it as a scam, but they're going to use that scam data to scam you real hard, baby. Check this out, Kelly. This is crazy. Geofencing and geotiming and how it could stop your car from going where you want and when you want it. It all applies to the cars after 2016. Scary stuff. Talking about geofencing, basically digital location zones that you can and cannot operate your vehicles within. Very fun stuff being exposed by Jeff Buys Cars on YouTube. Make sure to listen to this for yourself. I'll go ahead and retweet this so everyone can, catch a full rundown. It goes pretty in depth, but a lot of stuff. We got to get this show wrapped up. I know time's running short here. Russian military moved into Niger air base where U.S. troops are stationed after Niger told Washington to leave the country. We also have China's hidden $710 billion mega budget exposed. They're looking to hammer down, double down, even triple down on their military spending, getting ready for Taiwan. And Senator Warren wants to stop Iran from mining Bitcoin, rather. Just imagine hating Bitcoin this month. Just an incredible piece of garbage. Not that I love Iran, but I really hate Elizabeth. Now, Antifa coming back. So the Summer of Love 2.0 right around the corner. And with that being said, I love every single one of you in the chat. We're going to go back over to Discover Crypto now. Benny Blue Eyes, Museum of Corruption, Sawtooth Hiker, Jay-Z, DC and Prey. Kelly, thanks for joining me, man.
Hey, man, we just randomly happened to both have to stream this morning. It sucks that we had to go head to head, but we have a strong community. Let's see how many people in here will throw a lab code in here. How many of you are labbers? And also Blockchain Basement, we love you here, and Discover Crypto.
Man.
Let's all go now and raid Discover Crypto. And every one of us, as we roll into the live chat there, drop your Blockchain Basement emojis or BB and drop a lab
That's right.
code. Let's go.
Show
Let's
out,
go
baby.
Show some love.
Show it out. All right, I'll see you guys soon.